Howdy folks! Welcome to L2PS2 episode 15 here on November 10th, 2014. I've got my, I don't know how well you can see, my Extra Life shirt on that came in the mail today, really awesome. As part of reaching certain participation levels for the Extra Life Charity Marathon stream that happened back on October 25th. So I'm humbled, and I also, first and foremost appreciate everybody's support for Children's Miracle Network hospitals and kids around the world, or around the country, I should say. So anybody who tuned in or donated or whatever, thank you again for that. Really great stuff. Team SOE raising over $21,000 as a team. 100% of that going straight to charity, just straight to kids in need. So without further ado, L2PS2 episode 15 is here. It is upon us. If you're unfamiliar with me or the show, my name is ItZMuRdA. I've been playing PlanetSide 1 since the original beta back in 2003. I've been playing PlanetSide 2 for over 2 years now. We're only 10 days away from the official second anniversary of the actual launch of the game, but I've been playing since the original alpha tech test over 2 years ago. Just a huge PlanetSide franchise fan all around. I'm primarily an infantry player. These are my 4 main characters, so spanning all of the different empires and classes and whatnot. And this show is a infantry training camp, both for new players as well as veterans alike, to kind of pick my brain a little bit. You guys can answer or ask questions, and I'll hopefully answer them in chat. I have a monitor dedicated to that, so I'll be watching chat over at the PlanetSide 2 channel over the next hour or so. We're here every Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, so I encourage you guys to tune in if you're watching this after the fact as well. There's always giveaways too. Got that to look out for. At this point, I'm just, NC's kind of my default character that I jump into first, take a look at the map, and so on. So I'm gonna take a look there. How's it going, Kabe, Lumfish, Misk? What's up, guys? Back to traditional alerts here. The looks like, from what I can tell, you can still purchase the Candy Cannon and Slasher at this point in time. That might not be true. I never saw like an expiration thing on there. Maybe you can't, and they're just showing because I already have purchased them. I know as far as the event goes, though, as you can tell, my character's helmet getting defaulted back here. You can't use the actual masks anymore. These guys, face paint and so on. I'm a little disappointed that I can see the face paint, but the actual Inferno skulls and stuff are seemingly removed entirely. Hopefully there's still credit on the characters for that, so that next year or whenever the event's going on again, if you unlocked a look at that, you can't even see the directive. That's weird. Well, it was here. You do still have the points for it, but I'm kind of a little surprised that, and maybe this is just a bug, that it didn't persist so that you could still see your accomplishments, what you did on each character, and even if you couldn't actually use the helmets at the moment or anything. So hopefully, if that is intended, that'll be rethought for the future, just because it seems a little awkward to me. I think you would want to be able to see that, even if it no longer can actively be completed, as long as it's conveyed in a way that's not confusing, I guess. Hey Dana, pretty good. How are you? Oh, thanks, Lumfish. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, Vonic's one of the best out there. It's always fun to fight with and against. So what am I doing right now? You just saw me switch over my my Empire coloring here in the interface options. I usually use gray for friendlies, red for 2 different shades of red for enemies, mostly just for my actual HUD so I can identify friendly and foe easily. As a result of that, this is what my map looks like. A lot of people always ask. So it's kind of just a byproduct of wanting things to look like that otherwise, I guess, is the best way to explain it. I'm just going to jump into this right here. I actually should put a real helmet on, I guess. Not that the default is not real. I don't even know anymore, man. Go recon Grenadier at the moment. Hey, Deli. You already got your hand 11. See, what are you doing here? So anyway, that's the colors is just a personal preference. I think it makes it easy whenever you're, especially switching empires and stuff, to always be able to, not hesitate to shoot enemies because they've got red names and red Doritos. Speaking of too aggressive. Oh! Sirius helped him out there. If he had an Eridani or something smaller, I don't think he would have killed me before he had to reload. So that's the lessening of risk that you get with the second gen SMGs. Hey Jack, how's it going? Hi. Yikes, I hear you on that. So, I just kind of jumped right into to this fight here because we seem to have a handful of Sunders. I usually prefer defensive fights anyhow, but it seemed like we had, a decent enough presence plus the all of the possible spawn options, so it wasn't like we were going to be, foot surging from far away to get into a fight, which is generally what I'm looking for if I'm going to try to, use or fight in a offensive battle. I also, for the purposes of the show, didn't want to just be sitting there looking at the map and talking to you guys for the first 10 minutes, so I wanted to actually jump in game. Surprised he actually had an angle on me. But what I would typically do is look for defensive fights. This reinforcements needed thing is always great to at least check them out. Sometimes it provides really bad options like Cobalt Communications right now. 1 to 12 enemies, 0 allies, not worth it. Series Hydroponics, on the other hand, might be worth it. We have 54% population, they have 42, so I'd err on the side of not going there personally. Same with the Palisade, where generally could be a decent fight, but it also tells you that we're outnumbering them, and as defenders, when you have the population advantage also, you tend to be pushing them out pretty easily. So just in quickly kind of looking these over, my ultimate choice on ItZMuRdA might not be so bad. If in fact I did want to play NC at the moment, this might be, among the quote-unquote best fights. But that changes rapidly, so I encourage you to use your instant action keybind, see where that takes you, cancel it if you don't like it before it actually drops you off. Use your reinforcements needed spot on the map, just to see some different options. If you're not having fun, if you're not progressing one way or another, be it getting kills, certs, EXP, or otherwise, whatever it is that you're looking to do. In the current fight that you're in, chances are, of course, depending on your server, your empire, and the time of day, chances are there's at least something else out there worth looking at, looking for in a fight, especially if you are on counter era mode. And especially if you, have multiple characters. Not that you need to by any means, but if you're somebody like me who plays multiple characters, sometimes maybe you'll end up having a lot more fun in one fight over the next, just based on what that map looks like at any given point in time. Something that I try not to promote is the whole fourth empire sort of negative connotation associated with that. A while back, Rel and I coined the term Fifth Empire. Didn't really go too far, but I still reference it every so often. And I think that's the kind of multi-empire player that I am, and that I want to try to be, where I, first and foremost, I'm playing for fun, so I'm not going to get all torn up over, oh, I can't switch to this empire because I'm being disloyal or anything like that, but beyond that, I also tend to try to switch, if anything, to the underdogs or the defending empire or the losing empire, because I find that to be more fun. So I think the connotation or association with Fourth Empire tends to be switching to the winning empire, whereas, quite frankly, that's kind of boring for me, since they're already kind of having an easy time winning whatever the fight or continent might be. So, why join the winning side just for, the base cap or whatever. So, I tend to try to do the Fifth Empire thing, and if I am in fact switching empires frequently, looking for different fights, I'm at least usually trying to do it in favor of the underdog, the defenders, and the outnumbered. Not always, but that tends to be my go-to if I don't have another reason for doing so. As a result, I typically have more fun too. I don't want to camp through spawn room. That's not really a good room to camp anyway. They do still have sunders over here on the east side, so I'm going to check it out. Along with the actual teleporter room that's up there. How's it going, Nick and Gallus? This is always a little bit dangerous. If you have some decent cover near you, you can, pick off some of the brave folks, but I wouldn't recommend just sitting out in the open for too long here. It looks as though it's at the point where we're far outnumbered. So I'm going to hit my instant action button. It's actually taking me to another offensive fight, but the numbers look decent, so I'm going to check it out. I'm going to sit that out and see what it looks like. If not, I'll just redeploy as soon as I get there. And maybe I'll play some of the other empires tonight as well. I am on Emerald at the moment, Link. A lot of guys on the roof over there. I am running the Bandit at the moment, AF4A Bandit with Advanced Laser Soft Point 1X, kind of a typical close quarters sort of build, although the gun's alright at mid-range compared to something like the GD7F or whatever. I'd say it does better at mid-range. It's odd not seeing people with masks on. I'm mostly using it at the moment for Araxium purposes. I try to, cycle through different weapons. It's actually the only NC carbine that I don't have Araxium right now. So that's really the main reason for using it. It's not. I don't know if that's a good reason. Araxiums get you certs, medals, and directives in some cases. So that's kind of a personal preference thing, whether or not you pursue those. But that is something I do sometimes here on certain characters. Oh, does that guy still have a mask on? And that sticky grenade still looked like a pumpkin. Crazy. Times 2, nothing that I know of right now, although you could be seeing beginnings of some anniversary-related items since that's only 10 days away. Not entirely sure, though. I know they did a 1 month free a while ago, but nothing that I've seen lately, unless it's going to be part of the whatchamacallit next week. Getting pushed in pretty heavily here. I don't imagine this Sunder has long to live, unfortunately. Instead, I'm gonna kind of, well, the plan was to go that way. A few AC folks defending this base. Yeah, definitely, Link. I'd say Infiltrator is my second most played class, and at one point in time it was definitely my most played class. But Light Assault's certainly probably my favorite. But between the two, they're my most played for sure. They definitely both have an element of mobility and approach and whatever that the other classes don't really have. I don't know if I want to continue to get camped at this particular. What I would normally do in this particular situation is be running an ACX-11. That's probably my favorite carbine in the game right now. Low magazine, heavy hitting, very accurate, albeit slow firing. But that's kind of my sort of thing as far as weapons in general go. Especially some of the ones where it's untraditional to kind of have that, like carbines and assault rifles. It's not going to stand up. Hey, it's this. It's not going to stand up quite as well in very close quarters to a high rate of fire sort of hip fire weapon, but it will not do bad. And it's a heck of a monster at long range. See me pop in a lot of medkits, trying to be a little bit evasive here as well. So say I hear somebody spotting. They're probably right below me. But medkits are my best friend. I highly recommend them for really just about anybody in your loadouts as at least your default go-to utility slot item. If you want to switch to mines or C4 or something for a specific situation that you're in, by all means go for it. But my go-to definitely medkits saves me way too many times to not. And you see the damage of the ACX-11 at work there. Just being able to drop people really fast at ranges that carbines usually don't, even heavies and whatnot. Yeah, pretty much. Max over there. Don't really want to tango with him if I can avoid it. I'm giving up the high ground here, which is probably not a wise move, but... No. Managed to kill that guy, but was killed by somebody above me. Surprise. Yeah, I do, Sasquatch. As usual, I have the polar bear decal and the NS11CP for giveaway today. They'll pop across the bottom of the screen in a scrolling ticker. First person to basically type it into the redeem a code section of the depot in game, or probably more easily at planetside2.com under the enter activation code portion if you log into your account over there. They are on a first come first serve basis just because that's how they were set up with SV. That was really bad. Man, AC is just like recruiting the works. I've been in AC for 10 years and I don't know half the people that kill me anymore. I was dumb. I was at such a disadvantage positioning there. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know if I want to continue just attacking all night. Kind of looking for some alternative options here. Even VS at Manny Tower potentially have a better fight going on. Oh, lightning down there. That's not what we want. So speaking of the giveaways, the polar bear decal, which is both a infantry and vehicle decal, right there. It's my polar bear logo. It looks actually pretty decent on that background. You can see it pretty well. That is one of the giveaway items, and I can go ahead and toss the code in that on the stream here momentarily for that. There have been other ways to get it. Part of participating in the Extra Life campaign through my particular supporter page was that any of those donors received one as well. So, as well as all of my mods and subscribers on my Twitch channel. Lumfish among the newest, so thank you for that. That also gets you a polar bear decal as a means of saying thanks for the support. That's possible, Nick. I don't know how well you'd be able to see. and that might be something more for my my own personal stream than this one. But yeah, remind me next time I'm streaming on my channel, which is over at ItZMuRdA.com for those guys that don't know, or ItZMuRdA_TV in chat. I usually try to stream most nights of the week, except Sunday is my off day. But most of the other nights of the week, I'm trying to stream over there from, you know, roughly 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern or so, right around this time. So I encourage you guys to, you know, check that out, especially if you enjoy this sort of stream. It's very similar format. There you go. Nice slim fish. So on that note, I will go ahead and flip the code on here real quick. You can see those headshots, especially on some of the lighter, you know, like non-heavy classes at close range. Boy, does it draw people quick. This walkway under here keeps throwing me off with people on the map. I don't know if they're up here or down there. Anyway, as soon as somebody pops my top here, we'll throw that polar bear code in chat. There it is. You guys go. There's your polar bear decal code. But yeah, that code I give away one a week at least on this channel, and as well as, you know, part of other giveaways on my channels and social media and whatnot. Yeah, like I said, all of my subscribers have also received them. So if you are a past, present, or future subscriber to my Twitch channel, that'll also get you a polar bear decal code that you can redeem in game. I'll send it to you via Twitch PM. So thank you guys for the support. I was kind of surprised I won that fight, hip firing this. There's somebody behind me. Minimap usage, definitely wildly important, especially for planning to kind of pounce on somebody around a corner, especially if you're light assault or infill. You kind of have the advantage of either being invisible or being you know, somewhere above where they're not expecting you to be or something like that. So getting familiar with the minimap, definitely huge there. Congrats, Nesvi. I still will be giving away an NS11C, the carbine version, the platinum of that, which I still have a few more codes for. I'll be giving away one of those each week as well. So that'll be coming up here in the next, I don't know, 20 minutes or so most likely. Same sort of giveaway. Yeah, Link, absolutely. Minimap zoom in and out is part of my mouse width rebind as well. It's normally like the brackets, which is obviously... kind of surprised I didn't kill him, but whatever. Which is obviously very inconvenient for it to be brackets. I also prefer having the expanded minimap bound as well. Some people just play with it expanded entirely. You can do that by hitting H, I believe, by default. But I rebound mine there as well. Mine's actually W since I move with ESDF instead of WASD. But you can pick whatever bind works for you. So you can turn it on and off for the added visibility or the added minimap information as needed. And there's a whole bunch of crap here. That sort of range against the VX67 and ACX11 is just not going to really stand up to it in the hands of another good player. Oh yeah, definitely Sasquatch. I mean, that makes a huge difference. Even when I drop below 60 frames, I can feel the actual difference in my performance. So 2030, absolutely. I did it a very long time ago, Link. Like, we're talking like 10 years ago. So, thankfully there wasn't a whole lot that I really used WASD for before then, so I kind of almost learned on that. But I know people that have made the switch over, and, you know, maybe it's a couple weeks, maybe it's a month before you actually feel fully confident. There's another example of CQC versus a heavy with a CQC gun. it's just not gonna cut it. But as far as what I was saying, it's something that I think is definitely worth a transition, even if it takes you a month to kind of fully readjust and not keep going to put your hands back on WASD. But freeing up those extra keys is super worthwhile in my opinion. Once you're actually playing with it, it feels very similar because your hand movements are the same. You're not like switching anything drastically from one button to another. It's just a matter of like doing something else and then like setting your hand back down on the keyboard, where you probably have a tendency to sit back on WASD and wonder why you're moving weird until you figure it out. Yeah, upgrade. I use a Razor Naga, but my one of those buttons is my knife, which is definitely helpful dispatching people in close quarters when they happen to get into that sort of range. I guess I can go up here and take a look at the center, but I doubt it's going to last long. I think so, Nick, and I think SOE thinks so as well. They're working on trying to figure out the best way to do that. But I try not to get involved too much in the buff this, nerf that politics that a lot of people I think really blow out of proportion. By and large, I think most things are balanced pretty well. It's funny, Lumpfish. I haven't tried G-Sync. I've heard really great things about it. I haven't tried it. I use a 144, and I like it a lot over the 60s. I think some people overhype them to an extent. Like, it's not like, oh my god, I'm an instantly, extremely better player because I have a 120 hertz monitor instead of 60. But there's certainly like a perceived smoothness in all of your actions. At the 120 plus hertz that you can't really find in the 60 or below. So I think it's more of a feel than anything that you get used to. Kind of feels a little bit more realistic in terms of movement, I guess. Might be the best way for me to put it. I wouldn't go into it expecting a huge difference, because I did. Because I was one of the later people to get a monitor like that, and I think other people hyped it up too much for me, and I was just like, oh yeah, it's cool, it's better. I probably wouldn't want to go back to 60 hertz, but I wasn't like, oh my god, this is amazing. So that would be my advice. But I do think it's worth it, especially if you're in the market for a new monitor or something like that. If you're not, if you've got a perfectly fine monitor that you're satisfied with, maybe you wait until you're more in need of an upgrade, but I think it's one of the things that you probably want these days. Yeah, Deep, I can certainly link you on. If you need. But if you want to use a, if you want to use somebody else's, by all means, go for it. I try not to shove mine in people's faces too much. But if you don't have any, you're more than welcome to. I appreciate it either way. And if you have any questions about anything, let me know. Or let us know. We'd be happy to help. This is kind of an interesting, mostly TRVS fight that we're harassing a little bit, which can certainly be fun and effective in the right situation, which doesn't necessarily come up too often. That was almost a huge mistake. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's also a lower priority in the sense of You know, if you're playing on a rig where you're getting sub 60 FPS, obviously 120 hertz is not going to make any difference over 60 at that point in time, really. So it's also if you're prioritizing upgrades on your rig or whatever, and the type of thing where that's important. Really, dude, the BR2 just took me on out. I was in a perfect spot. I was actually just going to comment on that spot until the guy that just logged into the game saw an NC wearing black and yellow and said, "This must be a bad guy." Green Man 420. I am not surprised, sir. I think it was an honest mistake, though. Anyway, speaking of this spot, what I was going to say is, you can tell the usage of cover, alright, being mindful of all of this behind me, but also approaching the guys that are down at the A point, like this, where I don't have to be crouched, but instead I'm using this to cover. Like, this is perfect. Thanks for the example, Green Man. Green Man just got his hat blown off because he went way up there, like, hey, let me go expose my full body to these guys. Meanwhile, I'm back here. This was awesome. He was a perfect test subject. Thank you, Green Man. I don't mind that you killed me now. I'm back here shooting the same guys, and I'm on their screen, given the angle that we're at and the fact that I've got all of this for cover, I'm exposing much, much less of my character to them. You know, maybe they can just see the top of my head or whatever. You call it cheesy if you want, call it head glitch, call it whatever, but it is, in fact, a legit tactic in modern FPS games to kind of just be mindful of your profile, your line of sight, your threat, your whatever you want to call it. Wow, that dude looked very NC. How is that even possible? This guy's VS. Look at this. That's crazy. Oh man, Tramel's just... he's getting mad all the way from North Carolina. I can feel it. Anyway, I think that was a good example of exactly what I always try to talk about. Just making sure that you're not putting yourself at a disadvantage by doing things like that. That Halloween camel was awesome, if not a little suspicious. Wearing an analyst helm, I definitely was like, oh, this is an NC. Wait a minute. Is that even a... Oh, right, they have their own category now. That's pretty crazy, man. I mean, I guess for NC it doesn't look too different. Still have all this black and stuff. The VS camo coverage. Pretty wild. Like, this just looks like normal NC, but I'm kind of interested in using that on TR and VS myself. I bet it gets you shot a lot, though, like the old giraffe. Yeah, berets too, Mavics? That's totally fine with me. That just definitely surprised me. Hadn't actually seen one outside of the depot yet. And I guess when I previewed him before I was on NC, so it looked a little bit more normal. I'm good with that, man. Gotta get the BB decal in game. And Bill will be my man. Can have all the berets and orange camos he wants. We can have BB faces on our shoulders. This is kind of a crazy fight to be in the middle of. Not really your traditional planet-side fight, although also kind of shows the beauty of it. I don't really jump in too many sort of three ways where we're the third wheel. I say we, meaning the Empire that I happen to be playing at the time. But this one so happens to have a somewhat secure Sunderer spawn that allows us to kind of clown around in here. Can't complain there. I'm not really sure what the average continent population is. SOE would have those numbers. I don't really. There's probably some API and stat tracking sites that could give you some estimates. It's definitely considerable on Emerald and Connery, where I play primarily. You've still got, you know, at times hundreds of people at even just one single base, let alone, you know, 1,000 plus on the continent. With, you know, multiple fights happening on multiple continents on a given server, depending on if it's, you know, kind of prime time or... Is that Green Man again? Dude. Should direct him to the L2PS2 stream. Alright, grenade was almost good. I love this guy. Hey, Kenta, how's it going? Here's our friend again. Unfortunately, heavy assault, full health, full shield, full heavy shield, with a close quarters LMG. Odds are in his favor. I hope not, Sasquatch. Personally, they may. Really depends. I don't think that's like a, you know, part of the Higby playbook. If, you know, we're talking years from now, got different direction on the team or whatever, maybe. That's kind of my thoughts. I feel like a PlanetSide 1 starting at BR23 and then 23 and then 25, or BR20 and then 23 and 25. And then it was just like, it stayed there for a while, and then it was just like a whole new direction on the team. Screw it, let's give him BR40, you know, whatever. Years later, sort of thing that happened to PlanetSide 1. But it was different. Certs were behind the battle ranks in a much different way than they are in PlanetSide 2. So I don't really think there's a need for it. I think 100 is not only a, you know, a good number for a max rank, but I think the amount of EXP required is also in a pretty good spot. It requires a significant investment, but it's not out of reach to even the average player that, you know, devotes that time over time. So I like where it's at a lot at the moment. But I think if anything, maybe we're looking at changing the reward scheme a little bit, maybe making more cosmetic related items relate to BR, kind of like they did with BR and CR in PlanetSide 1. That would be cool. But I don't think they really need to raise it. I don't think that is going to do a whole lot for the established player, as it really is mostly a cosmetic thing beyond BR15. So. I'm cool with it at the moment. You also have the issue, essentially, of if you keep it for so long and then you raise it, in a situation where, you know, EXP and score keeps accumulating, well, what do you do for the daddies of the world? Are they just automatically BR200 when they log in? Like, that's not really very compelling for them at all. But if they weren't, then you're kind of screwing them over if they're starting, you know, back at the same EXP for BR100 as everybody else that just hit it yesterday. So it's kind of a weird area of potential contention that I'm not sure if they want to really venture into, or if they really have any need to, given the current model. If I was directing the game, I would leave it at BR100, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, we finally lost our Sunderer. That's a shame. Palisade is potential, has some potential at the moment. Deep Cord, now that looks good to me. Medium-sized fight based on the numbers. They're outnumbering us 2 to 1. I'm going to spawn directly into it from reinforcements needed. Love that. Yeah, Schweck, that's exactly the type of stuff I'm talking about. Speaking of which, I'll toss out this NS11C here. Next death, which could come quick, based on how much this is camped. And what I'll do is find the loadout. Here it is, NS11CP. It's the platinum version of the NS11 carbine. I typically run laser sight high velocity ammo on 1x scope with it, but you can do a whole lot. It's pretty flexible, goes either way as a carbine. It can be outfitted for close range with pretty solid hip fire, or for mid to long range, or kind of a hybrid of both, which is what I have on it at the moment. Where you're able to compete at that range, but as you can tell, the hip fire reticle cone of fire is also very competitive. So I'll be giving away this gun right here on the bottom of the screen here. As soon as I perish on this go around, which is going to be within a few seconds. Yeah, there it is. All right, code coming up for you guys. I'll be giving away more NS11 CP carbines in the weeks to come, as well as more polar bear decals. I'll use it again for a good run, for good measure here. Also usable on engineers, being a carbine and all. Just on the map, I'm guessing there's somebody in here right below me. No? Must be way down there. Saw some rockets going his way, so I tried to put some damage in on him, but... Nice, Nessie, man. Good job, bud. No need to feel like a dick. Enjoy. You got good typing skills, go for it. It's kind of part of the reason why I did that. Back when they had the Command Center show, they used to do that for most of the episodes. And I'm a pretty fast typist, somewhere on the order of 100 to 120 words a minute, depending on what metric you use, with little to no errors, just from sitting at my computer all my life. So it's got to pay off for something. So lots of times I would be the first to get those codes on there, and I always thought that was kind of rewarding for somebody who could type quickly. I mean, I know there's other variables, of course, just as opposed to the ones in chat that can be copied and pasted by bots and things like that. So that's how I chose to do it for these shows. It's also kind of quick and dirty, so I figured it worked with minimal management. But if you're a fan of the more randomized grab bag randomizer type of giveaways, I do those on my channels as well. And I'll probably be doing some in the near future on my channels for maybe the anniversary or something around then. If not, for the holidays, we always do some stuff. Generally coinciding with holidays or otherwise promotions by SOE. I like to do some giveaways as well. That was a good hipfire headshot. Be it during like station cash sales or holiday promos or whatever really kind of maximizes the giveaway for you guys. Sometimes SOE is often enough to sponsor those giveaways like they do for this show. Other times I can just, go in a GameStop, picking up some station cash or whatever, but I'm happy to do it for you guys. Trying to... If you are interested in the NS11C, oh boy, this is dangerous with no ammo. Wow, that was lucky. You can also buy one in the depot. You can actually now buy a gold and a black version of it, but you can buy the normal version as well. The platinum version is just a reskin of that. 2 days and 4 hours left on the PlanetSide 2 bundle before it launches, so you're looking at what is that, November 13th, exactly 1 week prior to the anniversary. This will become available. You can buy it. It's got a bunch of awesome stuff. We'll be talking about it on my stream when it comes available, as well as on the L2PS2 show next week. So if you're interested in that, I'll be going over the contents there for sure. I'd love to get some to give away. I don't know if SOE is applying codes for giveaways for them this year. I know they did last year, so that would be really cool. But don't quote me on that, just in case they can't. It'll be 4,000 station cash, $40, or $39.99 if you want to look at it like that, like it was last year, which I think is an amazing deal. And it's got just awesome stuff all around. Even the heroic boost alone is worth a ton of it. And then you're getting horns and camos and armors and weapons, and it's definitely worthwhile. They always do a really good job with the anniversaries, or like the Alpha Squad the first year, at throwing you like a $40 item or 4,000 station cash item that's just packed with hundreds of dollars worth of value. So highly recommended. I don't know how long it'll be in the depot, but I imagine you'll have an opportunity to buy it. As I recall, last year I think it was in there for at least some time. Like if it's starting for a week prior to it, it's going to be in there for at least a week or two, I would think. And yes, it is heroic boost for all your characters. I know it was kind of bugged last year, but that is the intention this year, this go around. So that's pretty cool in and of itself. Wonder if that three-way is still going on over there, or what exactly. I could jump on VS and actually have a spawn point there. That's a good question, Schwack. It's just for this, it's part of what has come with the with doing the show. It was just part of, hey, I'm gonna do a show on the channel, kind of cross promote one another, and they've provided some codes for giveaways. So outside of that, if you didn't have an official show on this channel, I'm not sure. You can always reach out to somebody, and see if they can direct you in that sort of direction. But generally, wow, I'm not going to have an easy time getting there. That's like the old Alatum holds. Holy crap. Wow, there's actually a lot of guys at Stillwater too, so maybe I don't even want to. This is pretty crazy. Wonder what these pads look like. That's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to jump in here, see what the air pads look like, and maybe fly back. But as far as that goes, pretty much all of the giveaways that I've done on my own channel, past, present, future, have been kind of out of pocket sort of things for myself. And all of the giveaways I've done on this channel have been supplied by SOE, so it kind of has gone hand in hand in that respect. But it's possible that they'd still be able to do something for you. Wow. I'm just not sure. I don't even think I want to res. I was thinking that fight was going to be better than it was. I do have a spawner for Air Network now, so let's try that. I'm using the Eclipse, again, just working on the Araxium with it, but this is the Araxium Directive Tier carbine, the one with one of the ones with the heat mechanic, which is kind of interesting because it leaves you with a theoretically very small magazine size. But ultimately infinite ammo and very quick reload, so I'm gonna take my perch back. Wow, wasn't quite used to the horizontal recoil on it. That's for sure. And it's not at all made for that sort of range, so you get somebody for it. I don't even know if it's worth it. If you manage to sneak up on a max, or get close enough to a max where you can, hey Coleman, where you can, you're within 10 meters and he doesn't know you're there, hit that Q spot, see if his health is low enough to kill him in like one magazine or so, and then let it go. Otherwise, get on out of there if you don't have an explosive. Or if you run enhanced targeting, you also have that benefit. It's really not that much. I mean, I know it is and it isn't. You kind of can almost view it like buying a little mini expansion or DLC for a game. But the value that you get of the actual items is huge. So take that for what it's worth, for sure. Especially if you play multiple characters, the value just really kind of multiplies, since you're getting things account-wide. You're also getting the... where the hell was that guy? Is he, like, under the ground or something weird? Weird spot. But, I mean, it is all relative. There's also usually, like, exclusives in it that you can't get again. I can't preview them here, but the 1-year anniversary camo was for last year's, part of the exclusive there, as well as the anniversary edition weapons. So if you're a collector like myself, or just kind of interested in that sort of stuff, that's always good too. But yeah, I mean, the 6-month boost is a huge benefit. I almost have always run them historically too. At the moment, I don't have any on, and it's probably about time to turn them back on, honestly. I do have a few banked, so I don't know what I'm being so stingy with them for. But I had a few different ones run out at different times, and since I was working on Halloween directives separately, I was only using short boosts. But I could probably benefit from turning my heroics back on, and most likely I will here in the near future. Yeah, they do cami, which is my biggest gripe about boosts in general. I wish that they were shorter duration, but actually limited to time played. I think that would be awesome. Unfortunately, that's not how they're set up. There's another situation with the max that I was just talking about. It was a little ambitious, but the C4 saved me. So anyway, that is definitely the case, so I wouldn't, turn one on if you didn't plan on playing a whole lot. But being 6 months, they do afford you the opportunity to, it's not like a 7-day boost where if you don't play for 3 days, you've lost half of your boost. They do afford you some I guess forgiving is the word that I'm looking for, in that sense a little bit. Ooh, that was quite the sandwich. So, I mean, I do wish that worked like that. I had mentioned it quite a while ago. I think it's more of just it would take some time to change that system over, and this is just how they've been doing it. But they've been pretty generous with boosts, and 6 months usually are at great value, even at retail value, if you will. So to get them as part of this account-wide bundle is quite good. And one of the, I don't know if that it's really a secret or anything like that, but one of the things to keep in mind is you almost never have to pay full price for anything in PlanetSide. The heroic boost is a great example. Right, so the anniversary last year had heroic boosts for all your characters, be it intentional or not. The anniversary this year, only 1 year later, has heroic boosts for all your characters. They're 6 months each, so that covers half the year already if you just buy those very discounted bundles. And then there were other promotions, flash sales, where they were deeply discounted, and I think they were, the Alpha Squad boost was essentially one originally. So it's kind of this thing where, like, you can get a pretty good savings on them if you if you kind of pace it out and wait for the right promotions and things like that around the holidays and the anniversaries, like end of November through beginning of January is a huge time for promotions in PlanetSide, as well as really anywhere. But so look out for stuff like that. You can often buy things then at significant discounts that are really going to last you, depending on how conservative you are with it, until the next year at that time. I've definitely done that a lot. Even at the moment, I'm sitting on an old hyper boost on this character, some old resource boosts, and 2 6-month boosts, and I'm about to get another one. So I feel like a year and a half just for this character. Some have maybe a year, some maybe have 2 years, depending on how I've used the boosts, just from collecting over time like that. And I don't think I ever bought one at full price. So just keep an eye out for stuff like that. There's always good sales. There used to be a lot of double and triple station cash sales. I don't think that's really the direction that they're going economically at the moment. But you'll usually still see some sort of a station cash related sale during the holidays, be it the $5 off at GameStop or Best Buy or 7-Eleven or whatever, or 40% off station cash, or something like that. There's usually an incentive where if you buy station cash at a time where you where there's some sort of incentive or discount, and then you kind of bank it until there's an incentive or discount on things that you get to spend station cash on, you end up with a lot of savings. So it's just a matter of being patient in that regard, and you really can get some good deals. I don't know that I should be unfolding the secrets of e-commerce. Mark Tuttle's gonna come up behind me and hit me over the head with a frying pan on the actual PlanetSide 2 stream here, but that would be pretty cool. Where are you, Mark? But nonetheless, I think that's goes for any sort of economy. If you're wise about it, you can do pretty good for yourself. How's it going, Steve-O? Essence, as I was saying earlier, the ACX-11 is probably my favorite, although it is more of a less for arena, and can certainly take down the heavy quite well with well-placed shots. If you're in very close quarters, you can use something like the GD7F, or maybe even the Bandit, at like a mid-range kind of all-around. The Razor GD23 or the NS11C are pretty good options. It really just depends on your style and the ranges that you're at, and so forth. Running around with the Scorpios at the moment. It's the VS Directive SMG, a take on the Eridani. Very good at being a mid-range SMG. Oh, that was dumb. I should have waited for him to pass me so that I actually reload before I fought him. Anyway, on that note, we are at about the hour mark. Boy, that goes quick. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Or me, or whatever. And we will be back with more L2PS2 episode 16 next Monday, which is going to be, the 17th of November, 3 days before the anniversary, but the anniversary bundle will actually be active in the depot by then. We can go over the contents, we can talk about it, we can use some of the items, show off some of the armors and things like that. And I'll be streaming most of the nights this week. There may be some changes to the schedule on certain days just because of other things that are going on, but I'll keep you guys posted on my my social media as well as on my Twitch title over at ItZMuRdA.com or twitch.tv/ItZMuRdA_TV. I'll put a period in chat then again, so if any of you guys wanted to reference my channel, if you enjoyed the stream or whatever, head on over there. If you give me a follow, I really appreciate it, and you'll be able to see my stream most nights of the week except for Sunday. Right on over there, right around this time. So hopefully I'll see you guys then, but speaking of which, there are awesome streams every night of the week here right on this channel, so I'm going to shift gears real quick, show my little mock-up schedule of what you guys got to look forward to. You can also scroll down below the PlanetSide 2 stream to see what's going on. L2PS2 with me here Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. All days of Pacific Standard Time. They did have a special Inside the Player Studio episode, so you might still see that sometimes. I just don't think it's going to be a weekly set schedule. If somebody knows something in chat, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, work in progress most Tuesdays at 3 p.m. with members of the PlanetSide development team. Art of Solar with Kudo Chop Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. You got Battle Rank Go with Rel 3 p.m. on Wednesday, followed by Higby Please with Matt Higby, creative director on PlanetSide 2. Really, really great show to kind of see what they're working on their internal builds, what's coming up next. Definitely recommend tuning into that. 6 p.m. Wednesday night, Sardis Outfit Ops with TRG on TR Connery. Trees at a Limit at an EU-friendly time at 11 a.m. Pacific with Elgars on Thursdays. Also Attack on Araxis with Kid Riot at noon Fridays, followed by Bear Force 9 with Zorian the Bear at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And then Rel's newish show, I believe it's on its third week or so, State of the Game, kind of a more analytics talk show based setup with Rel at 5 p.m. Friday nights. So you guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I will see you either on my stream throughout the week or next Monday on L2PS2 episode 16. You guys have a good one, and get ready to enjoy the upcoming anniversary and holidays. Take care.